So I'm sitting here from northern Minnesota. So you can still see there's still snow out there, but it is pretty warm. But I am out here live on the business side of the food blog because I wanted to see if there was anybody that had any questions on what revenue actually looks like for a food blog with only 3,220 subscribers. And I wanted to see if anybody had questions on how to grow a food blog or a food show or a food network, and some of my experiences. So I just thought maybe if anybody had any questions on the business side of the of having a food show or a cooking show, or if anybody has any interest in that or has any questions on it. So I started my YouTube channel over a year ago in January of 2024. And I started very slow, where I would only post two or three things, maybe one or two things a week, while I still had a senior in high school. And then my youngest daughter, I'm sorry, went to college, and all of a sudden I became this empty nester and I had way too much time on my hands. And so I went ahead and started this food blog to just kind of see if there was any chance of making that kind of a full-time income. So my background is I do work full-time in finance and accounting. I'm not going to name the business because then people can find me and stalk me, and we don't really want that. So I do work in finance and accounting, and so the business side of the YouTube channel really interests me. And so it was just kind of interesting so I did what everybody does, is I went and did a whole bunch of research on YouTube, watched other people that had been successful on YouTube. You're not going to find people that are probably unsuccessful on YouTube because they just quit. So everything that you watch, most people are successful. So after kind of watching them, I decided, I'm going to go ahead and try this. So I set up my YouTube channel. So I live in northern Minnesota. So everything that I do is at home, in our home kitchen. All of my recipes are all home recipes, not commercially made. So we make them and consume them and give most of it away. I cannot eat everything that I make, because now I'm making 5 to 6, maybe almost one video a day for YouTube. So I have probably over 300 videos right now on YouTube. And so I didn't have much growth until probably September. So 8 months in. In September, I decided I was going to try to do things a little bit different. So I was having trouble gaining subscribers and watch hours. And so I decided I was going to try to do a Christmas series. And at the Christmas series, I did one recipe. I posted one recipe every day for 64 days, starting in, it would have been October. And so I had to batch record because I do work full time. So I would do, actually, sometimes I would even get up at like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. Now, granted, I had just become an empty nester, so I wasn't sleeping anyway. So I was up cooking in the middle of the night. And so some of my earlier videos are very dark, very, very dark in the middle of the night. But, and so anyway, so then after that, so that is what gained on the business side of YouTube. That is what gained me enough watch hours, is those videos through Christmas. And there's actually, if you go back, there's a lot of really good food recipes through the Christmas season, through December. So I gained all my watch hours. So those that are interested, I gained almost 3,000 of the 4,000 watch hours I needed in about a month and a half. So I was monetized the end of November. So the problem is that after I got monetized, it took another week to get till you get to that certain percentage it takes a little while to get through after you're accepted. And then, so it took another 5 days. So it was like December 6th that I finally started being able to make some money off of the ads. So through the month of December, because that's a huge time for people that have food channels, I did very, very well. So I made about $960. But so those of you that are just joining me, I'm an accountant, and so I keep very close records on everything that I do. I I ended up spending about $1,300 in food through the month of October through December, in making all of those recipes. Granted, I knew that this was going to be a long haul. So YouTube is a long haul moneymaker. Very few people start making money within the first 2 to 3 months that they are posting videos. Very, very, very rare. So anybody that is out there looking at this, this is a long journey. YouTube is a long journey. They say between 5 and 8 years for the smaller people to start gaining traction. So this is what I've ran into in January and February now. So I have gone up in subscribers, maybe only 10 the whole month of January and February, which was terrible because in December I was gaining probably 40 to 50 subscribers a day. And so it's very deflating. YouTube can be extremely deflating if you watch your analytics pretty close. And then my revenue went way down, and the views went way down in December and January. March is kind of following the same structure. And so granted, so I've been monetized about 4 months. So I had about a $967 revenue month in December. January was like 104. February was 68. So I didn't even make the payout amount for December. And granted, so if you're watching this, I see there's a couple questions here that I'll answer. So far, YouTube for me, for the monetization, has not been profitable. I have spent more on groceries and food. And now, I do a lot of baking. So the cost of eggs has really made a huge difference in a lot of these recipes that I make. Anybody that wants to cook anything, and eggs, I know they're expensive, but if you look at the cost of butter, a pound of butter is just about as much as like 12 dozen eggs. So if you kind of look at that comparatively, it's, not the greatest. But so back to the business side of YouTube. So what I have done is I've changed my channel name a couple of times, and actually I'm looking at rebranding again because I do not like my name. I haven't liked the name since the very beginning. So I'm looking at doing a little bit of a rebrand. And then I'm also going to be working on putting more things on TikTok. I know I'm probably a little old for TikTok, or any of you guys watch TikTok, but I feel like I'm a little old for TikTok. My kids said I probably, unless I start dancing while I'm making food, probably won't be real successful on TikTok. Instagram, I do some things on. I do post occasionally on Instagram. I have just learned how to use the Meta Business Suite. And that is really nice because that posts to Instagram and Facebook both at the same time, which is a huge time saver for me. So I just don't like adding all the hashtags and all the descriptions and things like that. And then on top of that, I have a website that I will post the full recipes to. So then to get the recipe posted over to there is the next part of it. So anyway, so the business side of YouTube. Does anybody have any questions that are kind of watching on here? So I can take any questions right now. So I'm thinking about changing my name to Cabin Cook because we do live in northern Minnesota. We're the land of 10,000 lakes. Actually, like 25,000 lakes, 25,000 or 24,400 lakes or something like that. So we're always on the lake or by the lake or on the dock or something like that. So I'm thinking about changing my branding to there. just, kind of an interesting side note to that. But anyway, if nobody has any questions, I'm gonna probably move on to my next recipe of the day. So maybe I'll go live while I'm making that. We're actually gonna do a grilled recipe because we don't get many nice days in March in Minnesota. Usually it's really cold and rainy here, or not rainy, snowy. But we have no leaves yet, so we're looking for anything warm. So it's supposed to be 58 today. So here is one question. I've seen frugal cooking channels do well. Have you thought of doing this? Yes, I have. Okay, so Marlene, I am an accountant by trade, so I do work full time, keeping up or working in accounting. So I am an extremely thrifty person, and if you have watched me before, you know that I don't like to waste any food. So if I have anything like sour cream or milk or half and half or something like that left, I will always try to find a recipe to share that works with those things, because I just am not super great at wasting things. So that is a really good idea, to maybe have more of a frugal series. It's kind of hard. Like, I just made some cookies this morning, a cake mix cookie, where the cake mix was $1 and the M&Ms were $4.97. So it makes it a little bit hard to be frugal when one bag of M&Ms is $5, if you know what I mean. But yes, so that is a great idea to do more frugal videos. I've also kind of been looking at a little bit of a series on cooking for two. Like I said, my husband and I are new empty nesters, so our daughters are both at college out of state, and it's really hard sometimes when I make a recipe and we eat the same thing for 3 or 4 days, which that gets old too. So, cutting a recipe down that, for a big family into down to 2. Now, a lot of my baking videos, I will, I take my socks off, sorry. A lot of the baking videos, I'll cut the recipe in half, and you'll see that in a lot of them where I'll make like an 8x8 pan. And then if you just want to double it to a 9x13, you just actually double everything. Okay, so Deborah, doing live cooking would be great. Now that is a great idea, and I might be doing this afternoon or this evening because it's beautiful outside, and I'm going to actually do a grilling. I have a grilling recipe that I was going to work on, so maybe I can do that live tonight. However, I do make a heck of a lot of mistakes when I'm live, and say things I probably would like bleep out if I wasn't doing it live. But yes, I can work on looking at some live videos there. Okay, and then I see another person. What I've seen is like, take a dollar amount and see how much you can stretch it. Okay, that is very easy to do. So I do a lot of shopping at Aldi's. I don't know where all you people are from is Aldi's, so that's about as low as you can possibly get, but that is a great idea. Can I do crock pot meal videos? Yes, I do have some crock pot, and actually, if you're interested on my, if you search for in my videos, I have a chicken wild rice crock pot soup recipe. That is my favorite soup in the whole world. So that is a great crock pot recipe. And I also had a Greek beef. That one I just did not too long ago too, which is a crock pot. Greek beef you can put on top of like a stroganoff or a sandwich, like kind of like a French dip sandwich on a really good hoagie roll. So that would be good too. I am definitely self-taught for the next question that was on there. Definitely self-taught. So my mom baked a little bit. My mom was a RN, and so she worked overnight hospital emergency room when I was really little, and so she was, kind of a home. She wasn't a home cook like my husband's mom was. My husband's mom was a farm cook, a farm girl, and that's what she did. Is they lived on the farm and they had a huge garden. So they had a dairy farm, and so a lot of the recipes I make are my husband's mom's recipes. They are in those old-fashioned handwritten green. They're completely unorganized, so I have to dig every time I want to try to find something. But so a lot of my recipes are actually her recipes. Some of them I get from cookbooks or, or just general recipes like that. How long have you been cooking? So since then, so when I had my kids is when we really started making a lot of intentional recipes and foods, and I had to learn how to kind of cook on the go when my kids were really busy in high school sports and that really busy time that people have. And so, but after my kids have gone to college now, I've actually cooked more probably because of this YouTube channel. So I would say I've probably been cooking since I was young, and I'm 47, so 30 years, 35 years, something like that. So anyway, anybody have any questions on the business side of YouTube? I know that most people here probably aren't looking to start a YouTube channel, so this is like definitely a side gig for me. I was hoping, my husband is 11 years older than I am, so my long-term plan was to retire and be a content creator on YouTube when he retired, so that we could be a little bit more able to do things together instead of me working in an office sitting in a chair for 40 hours a week. So that is one of the things we're kind of considering. And so that is why I watched the business side of my channel really closely to kind of see if that even is a possibility. As of right now, it is not a possibility. I will be probably doing business or accounting and finance until I retire at this point, but I don't know if I'm probably just not exciting enough to have a blown up YouTube channel. So, okay, so I've been on for about 20 minutes. I have got some really good ideas from some people that were typing in here, and I really appreciate that. But I am going to run to the library, so I have every couple weeks I go check out probably 15 to 20 different cookbooks to kind of pull some different recipes together. So I'm gonna go check out some cookbooks. I don't buy cookbooks. First of all, I don't like the clutter. Second of all, I only look at them once or twice to grab the stuff I want out of them and then take them back to the library. And then I gotta hit all these for the recipes that I have tonight. So I really appreciate you popping in, and we will chat again soon.